Hello, everybody! Welcome back to Broadway World's Next On Stage Dance Edition, sponsored by LaDuca Shoes. I'm your Broadway buddy, Ben Cameron. I'm your host for this evening and for this entire dance competition series. You just saw highlight clips of our top 16, and you're about to see even more from the contestants who've been voted through to our coveted top 8 as we reveal who's going to move on to week number 3. The contestants moving on to the next round received the most votes in our first voting period, which opened on September 14th and closed just last night at midnight. You voted them into our top 8, and now our judges are going to provide valuable feedback for them to use in their performances moving forward. We had incredible feedback from our judges last time, and I'm very excited to see how these young dancers, these high school age dancers, were able to incorporate that into their performances. The judges will also, at the end of our top 8, be reviewing performances from some of our awesome almosts contestants who just barely missed making that top 8, giving them just one, a chance to move on to compete in the first spot in our top 5 and for your votes. It's exciting. Let's review our prizes. No contest is worth anything without some prizes. Both the college and high school age winners will receive, the winners of the LaDuca Achievement Award for Excellence will receive a Broadway prize pack with merch from the Broadway World Theater Shop, all very cool, shoes from LaDuca. Come on, what can you do? That's amazing. A scholarship to Steps on Broadway summer programs and a $1,000 donation to the charity of their choice, which is amazing. Plus, we'll be giving away $200 and $100 scholarships to Steps on Broadway for our first and second runners up. So that's a lot of great stuff for these aspiring professional dancers. We're very excited. Now, before we start dancing, and I'm feeling pretty jazzy about it, we've got very exciting news for all of you singers out there, which should be some of you dancers as well. Am I right, Sasha Hutchings? Next on Stage, Season 2 is now accepting submissions for our singing competition. All high school and college-age aspiring stars out there are encouraged to submit their video to Broadway World Singing Competition as the second season begins next month. Head to BroadwayWorld.com/nextonstage to submit your video today. Very exciting. Now it's time to bring back our esteemed, distinguished, uber-talented judging panel. Give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, that is Phil LaDuca,
hello
Sasha
there,
Hutchings, and Tyler Haynes.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right, so I just really quickly, we had an amazing week learning who our top 16 were. What are you guys particularly looking for now that you've been able to communicate with these dancers? What are you looking for this time around?
I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they incorporate things that were said last week. And I also feel like, as they get to know us, we get to know them. So it's just going to be a little bit of a growth process, which I'm really excited about. It's always great, to meet people for the second time and the third. So very excited.
Absolutely. What do you think, Tyler Haynes?
I second everything she said. And I also just kind of want to see just what they bring to the table this week, what versatility they incorporate into this style and music and all that, just to see what other shades of their personality they're going to bring to the table. Very excited.
Yeah, and Phil, we're really excited about this challenge because we're going old school, as we've challenged all of our top 16 to perform pieces from classic Broadway musicals pre-1970s. What is specific about that you're going to be looking for?
Well, what I really appreciate about that is what I constantly say to performers is know your history. Find out who has given you that platform that you have now. Where did it come from? Learn from the past, learn from the masters. So this is just right up my alley.
I like it. Let's take it old school. I'm into it. As I mentioned, this week our performers were given a challenge to create a piece to a Golden Age musical, and we're traveling back in time, 1970 or before. What's happening? We'll be showing some shortened clips of the performances this week. But if you want to see more of anyone's performances on their week 1 performances, head over to BroadwayWorld.com/nextonstage-dance, and you can see the whole dancy enchilada. Yum. I say we jump right into it. Shall we, judges and friends?
Yes.
Hey, let's do jazz hands. Jazz hands. All right. We are starting off now with Ricardo Tigginson, Back this week, dancing to Rose's Turn from Gypsy. We'll also be highlighting the contestants' charities this evening. If Ricardo wins, he'll be donating his $1,000 prize to the Fetching Tails Foundation because it provides care for dogs that may be in need of help. I love that. That makes me want to get a dog. All right, let's all watch Ricardo starting us off in our top 8.
Miss Gypsy Rose Lee. Will someone tell me when is it my turn? Don't I get a dream for myself? Starting now, it's gonna be my turn. Gateway world, get off of my runway. Starting now, I bet 1,000. This time, boys, I'm taking the bounds, and everything's coming up rose. Everything's coming up roses. Everything's coming up roses, this time for me. For me. For me. For me. For me. For me. For me.
All right, in our top 8, Ricardo Tigginson. All right. Sasha Hutchings, what'd you think about that?
Oh, Ricardo. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the song. I think one thing I noticed is that, and I remember from last week you doing Burn, and there was such this control and this fluidity. And I think that didn't serve you this time with this song. I liked the idea of like starting Rose's turns with turns. But I wanted them to be like so much more out of control because I just feel like at this point, this character is just, this is it. Like, and I didn't get that energy from you. So while you have this lovely, lovely control, I wanted to see you tear it apart and throw it away. I thought it was very smart. I thought the movement was very smart, just too controlled.
Hashtag Rose's Turns.
I was like,
At the top. Best 11 o'clock number in the musical theater canon. Tyler Haynes, what'd you think?
Yeah. First off, nice House of Cons at the top. But I agree with everything Sasha's saying. At this point in the show, Rose is like at her edge. Like she is so just like, you're watching this build and build and build and build to this moment, and then she's like, here she is, boys. And it's so exciting and dangerous, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And I think with this, I want to challenge you to start dancing at your edge, like where you can't just go there anymore, and then you go there a little more and more. So then for us as the audience, and the choreography I really liked because it was like you did these turns, and then it was like boom. But the music did that. The choreography did that. I needed you just to be reckless and do that as well. So like everything Sasha said, don't worry about the control now. Just mess it up and dig in more with like, there's so many stakes in this number. And I think that you should be so exhausted by the end of it because you just left it all out there, because I know that's or I imagine that's what the actress, whoever plays Rose, like by the end of it, it's just like, got nothing left. So I want to encourage you to dance at your edge.
I love that. Phil LaDuca, what are your thoughts for Ricardo?
Ditto from my colleagues. I was waiting for the kitchen sink to come out. Number. I mean, you gave everything, which was wonderful. It's fantastic to see. I loved, as Sasha was saying, the turns in the beginning. What I always appreciate is that you throw a little nuance in there, and the spotting. The change of the spots of the fouettes is nice. And again, showing that technique is fabulous. What my colleagues were saying, and I concur, is we wanted to see more characterization. What I was thinking about watching you, Ricardo, was that level that you hit and you maintained. I remember seeing Bernadette Peters in Follies, I'm Losing My Mind, and she did the whole number standing still. And it just pulled us in, watching this person lose it, where you would think someone would be going crazy. So it's a choice. And as Tyler was saying, going to the edge as an acting choice, seeing about, it would have been interesting to see if you had played against that losing it and shown us emotion, emoting from that. and also throw in those times when we see your techniques, because now we're getting to the point where technique is there for everybody. We want to see what you add to it on top of that, and why you would be valuable in a cast of other dancers that would have small acting roles to play as well. So start to think about spreading that out in that vein.
I love that. I love the thinking about it as an actor, and we all, as in an ensemble or wherever you are dancing, you're acting. All right. Next up, making it into our top 8 is, drumroll, Catherine Zimmer. Catherine got our judges' save as an awesome almost last week, and she is fully in. This week, she's dancing to Who's Got the Pain from Damn Yankees. Catherine's charity is the Soul Dancers Charity because she wants to provide opportunities for other people by contributing to Soul Dancers' goal of nourishing the minds, bodies, and souls of the less fortunate through the gift of dance. I think that is fantastic. And I love this whole charitable aspect of this competition. Let's put our eyeballs on Catherine Zimmer. Right. Catherine Zimmer, I want to give a shout out to all the parents who are allowing their homes to be turned into full-blown dance studios.
Moving everything.
It's so cool that we're pulling this off. Mr. LaDuca, what are your thoughts for Catherine?
I loved how you just jumped into frame on that turn. It was a nice moment just to begin. Very athleticism, very Vera Ellen, reminiscent of the Turnstile Girl, and that era on the town, pajama game, Who's Got the Hurt. Loved your interpretation, your energy. I would encourage you to get down into your hips more. When you get into the more Latin and that mambo and that samba thing, get down into your hips and take moments that was really wonderful, the energy level. Take a breath every once in a while and surprise us. Really, all that power going on, and then just a little look. Stop. It pulls us in, and then you can push us back again. Great job. Lovely.
I love that. Tyler Haynes.
First off, I was so happy to see your face because last week we got just the class footage, but everything, your personality was really coming through and your movement with that. So it was nice to see what your personality is up here. You have a wonderful control. And also the thing that I really liked with what you were doing is a lot of times on film sets when you're dancing on camera, you have to fit everything in this one tiny, like there's this little box and you're like, okay, I got to stay within this or whatever. And that's a challenge that you're already meeting because you stayed within this tiny space, especially with your turns. There was just this really nice control over it that I appreciated. Great personality. Great quality of movement. The thing I want to see now from you, and that I think you could have used to your advantage in this, is there is such a silly comedic element to Who's Got the Pain, the original number. They're saying "erp" the whole time. So find those moments to not make it. Don't dance so hard. Don't dance so hard. Just have fun and show us a side of your personality. So I would like to see more of that moving forward.
I love that. And I feel like we're all kind of getting that. The youngsters are getting that TikTok training where they dancing in frame, right? What do you think, Sasha?
Oh, TikTok. Yeah, I agree. Everything. I think I remember watching you last week and saying, we can't see your face, but I'm drawn in. And what I want to reiterate is you're doing enough. Like you don't need to dance so hard. It doesn't need to be so packed, so jam packed. I appreciated the structure of the choreography. I could see like the phrases repeated with the music. I thought that was like very, lovely, but it just can be less, and you can have more of those character movements that actually let us see you. So they're not leaps and jumps and turns, they're shapes with your body. And I think that going back and looking at when you're pulling from Fosse or you're pulling from these iconic numbers, that you really look at the shapes, because that is that era, that music, and then see how you can play with it, see how you can be more creative with it, or what does it look like for you in 2020. And then just small technical thing that I could probably say to everyone, I don't know what get on that releve for that pirouette. And it's like, it's not just you, I see it across the board, and I know people say it, and I don't know if it's a new TikTok thing, or like just a new generation thing, but there's power to being all the way up on your releve. And I know that people like to spin and spin and spin and spin, and you're on the ball of the foot, but this demi releve. But I think there's just some power in that standing leg. And so that's just a thought, while you're dancing, to really get up on that. And I think I'm probably going to make that note a couple of times as we go.
I think it's an excellent note to make. Absolutely. The good Lord gave us those feet. Let's get up on top.
Hello.
Stand on top of that thing, drive it into the ground.
Yeah.
Double. Who cares?
Mike. All right. That's Catherine Zimmer. We're going to find out in a little bit which of our awesome almost this week are going to move on to our top 5, thanks to our judges. We have another top 8er, and that is Ava Madara, who's going to be dancing to There's Gotta Be Something Better Than This from Sweet Charity. If Ava wins, her charity is Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, because she sees firsthand through the theater community what this organization truly does. And it's a lot of good. Here, Ava. Here she is. Gotta be something better than this. This is Ava.
And when I find me some kind of life I can live, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna get up, live it!
Ava Madara. All right. Something better than this. Classic. Iconic. Let's go back to you, Sasha.
Yes, such a classic. I love the starting up stage and like the symbol and the drama. It just gives a shape. I saw you pull from like inspiration from the original choreography. Love all of that. I'm going to tell you to get up on that releve. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something that I'd like to see. This is such a, you grow into things. You grow into things as a dancer. And as women, we definitely grow into our hips. And there's something about like, when I was approaching Fosse at 16 versus 22 versus now. And that's like, there's just something cooking there. And I would love to see more like tension and cooking, because you have like these nice hip accents. But I think that within this style, it's a little bit more subtle, and that comes with experience with the movement and maturity. But I think like you can really play with the subtlety of it, and it actually takes way more energy than what you're doing. So it's not easy, but it's something that I would keep all those accents and keep all of the shapes that you're doing, and just like really imagine like just this in your core happening while your hips are moving. It's a very specific thing, but great work.
I love cooking. What about you, Phil? Yeah.
I concur, and I also love the fact that you took the starting from the back. What I would have loved to have seen you incorporate, and if you look back on that number from film, what they did, dancing on that roof, going back and forth. And at first I thought, well, wouldn't it have been nice if it started as a close-up and pulled back? But of course, you don't have a production company working for you. However, if you started in the back, it would have been a nice touch for you to come into the camera at times and go out, so that we got that sense of that you are being personal with us and you're letting us in on what's going on. The other thing that I would like you to incorporate, because I love the stylization, is to take more into the hips again, and don't think, as Sasha was saying, don't think so much about steps as I need to impress with the steps, but that characterization and what this number means to you at the moment. I saw wonderful dancing going on. I wanted to see more abandonment and joy of release. And that's that part we're talking about, that we appreciate technique, but don't let it constrain you so that you just are only concerned about the technique. The technique is there. At this point, you shouldn't be concerned about it. You should just be dancing. And that's what we want to see more of, and from you next week, that we're not noticing the technique. We're just watching you dance.
I love it. Tyler.
They both hit the nail on the head. I think going back on what Sasha was saying, with Mr. Fosse's movement, it is something, it's like a fine wine. It just gets better with age. You start to understand the subtleties, and the misconception with the movement too is it's like, because it's so subtle, it looks like you're not doing anything when you are doing so much. That's, you've got to make it look easy. But also talking about what Phil was saying too, with the movement and the way that Mr. Fosse arranged those songs, go back and just watch the greats, watch Gwen, watch Cheetah, watch Anne Ranking, and see the subtlety in their movement, but also see how they hit it with the accent in it. Because like the very first, when I find me some kind of life I can live, boom, that first thing, it doesn't have to be like bam, but there's still just got to be that right. You got to listen. The music is your Bible, so remember that. A small thing that I want you to focus on too is stretching through your feet. Really make sure you're stretching through your feet, especially on that double pirouette. You took off and you didn't fully, when you take off from the back foot, it's going to go immediately stretch that foot. Don't just kind of half it. So really, that's my thing I'm going to get onto you about, is your feet. Stretch your feet, stretch your feet. But good work, good work.
I love that. Tyler, what would be great for feet? A new pair of LaDuca shoes.
Wouldn't it though?
Wouldn't that be something beautiful for your feet to articulate through?
Yeah, that's what they're there for, to really show off those arches, those calf shoes.
Absolutely. We've made Phil LaDuca blush.
Hello.
All right, let's continue forward. In our top 8, we have Becca Perrin. She'll be dancing to Crapshooters Dance from Guys and Dolls. She chose the charity Coalition Against Trafficking in Women because their mission is extremely important to her and should be to everyone. I love that a lot. Let's go with Becca. All right. That's Becca. Listen, it had to happen. There was going to be hatography. And now we have it. So if you're playing classic musical dance bingo at home, you can cover up hatography. Tyler, I know you love a hinge. Let's talk about it.
I love it. Listen, Becca, I'm a fan. You have this quality. You just have there's a maturity to your movements. Like, I can already see you like working in a couple years. Like, I see how you're going to be in shows. Like I want to use you. I think I'm a fan because the way it's shot, you took our direction, and it seems like you watched the whole show where we were giving people stuff on like, make it more, play with the camera and stuff like that. The dancers, I want to make sure you're watching the whole show. Don't be like, selfish actor and be like, I'm just going to watch my critique and nothing else, because we're giving you tidbits for the next week. And that you did that, but your lines and your, I don't know. I liked it. I was totally on board. And you know how to wear a hat too. So there was that. But it wasn't, I don't know. I dug it.
You got to wear a hat and a heel, period. Phil, what are your thoughts?
Total package. You gave everything we wanted. You started off right from the top. You gave a story. You started with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's what musical theater dance is about. You stayed in character. The choreography was right on, very apropos. You hit on all of the points. You really listened. And that's also what choreographers pay attention to. Are the dancers listening to me? Are they taking heed from what I'm saying? You with incorporating the hat, a prop, which you did well. You did great to see a gender bender for a female doing the crap shooter ballet. Very intelligent movements to go along with the choreography and the music. I don't have much to say in the con side of the aisle because I just thought it was the total package. Beautiful job.
Love that. Lots of pros. I think she could be a pro. What do you think, Sasha?
I'm in love. I'm in love. I love it so much. It's just so good. It's great. You're right in the pocket. The hatography is amazing. Yeah, you're going to be working. I hope you sing. If you don't, you need to be taking lessons like right now because there's nothing like it. There's always room to grow, but you're right in the pocket. So I was trying to think of like a challenge we could give you because it's all there. I mean, we've seen you do some really spunky, like quick up tempo stuff. So I kind of, there's a whole gamut. I guess I'm a little interested to see like what does, maybe I don't mind you staying in that pocket of jazz because I love it. But I think what if there's, a little slower, a little more sultry. You've got this maturity in your body and in your movement. There's a harmony there. So I wonder what would happen, if it was a little bit of a different style, maybe a little darker, maybe a little
And I think there's a lot of room to play with that. Maybe next week with our contemporary musical challenge. So maybe she needs to put on a cast and Dear Evan Hansen her way through.
Just a cast dance.
Oh my gosh. We're not saying Becca. We're just saying some pretty high praise from our judges. Thank you guys so much. Coming in here in our top 8, Tristan Hill is in our top 8. Tristan will be dancing to Almost Like Being in Love from Brigadoon. I love that. The charity that Tristan has picked is In Motion Arts Alliance because of their mission in providing Greater Orlando young artists education, training, and performance opportunities. That's fantastic. So from Orlando, Tristan Hill.
What a day this has been. What a man who died. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love. All the music and all the seems to be by the bell that is ringing for me. And from the way that I feel, when that bell starts to peal, I would swear I was falling. Swear I was falling, I always like being in love.
I'll tell you what I love. I love a mess around. Phil, do you love a mess around like I do? Tristan gave us some.
Oh, get down and dirty. He was, again, I was captivated. Tristan, you had me on so many levels. First of all, Brigadoon was my first Broadway show for Agnes DeMille. But yet, I loved that you did Nat Cole's version. You did a nice, snazzy, jazzy version of it. And you reminded me very much, talk about taking it to heart. You reminded me very much, and I want you to research this dancer, Buzz Miller. I had the incredible opportunity to dance with Buzz Miller, who was one of the original Satin Doll and did with Annie Rankin. And you have that quality that is so old school. And as the term I use is pedestrian. When you see the Fred Astaire's and the Gene Kellys and the Gregory Hines, and they're able to dance so effortlessly and yet then turn it into tricks, which you did them so well, the steps. They weren't tricks. They came out of an intelligence and an emotion rather than say, I'm going to throw in a triple pencil turn here. It didn't stand out for me. It was because it came from the heart and it was honest. And that's the most thing I could say about it. It was so honest and sincere, and you did everything that we asked for. Just keep it going, my man.
Yeah, that sounds a lot to me like definitely was listening last week for sure, incorporated some things. What do you think, Sasha Hutchings?
Absolutely. I was just like thinking back on the way you used the music and the movement, and I was waiting the whole time. I was like, is he gonna turn? Is he gonna turn? And then when you did, that release was everything. The release is the story. It's not the turn. The turn is like the buildup, and then there's this, so you don't get the whole story unless you really have those ups and downs. And I was just thinking, like, I noticed that throughout the piece that there would be these like hits, and then you would sort of melt, and these hits, and you would melt. And honestly, that's what being in love is like. Like, you're just like hit with it over the head, and then you just like melt, and then something else surprises you. So I just really enjoyed the story behind the movement, and I hope that stays with you, because even without those turns at the end, you had us. It was fantastic, and all of that character is really important. Your face. Also, last thing, just want to shout out with Becca and you now. Who's ever's doing the camera, I see you. Fantastic work. You got your people.
Well, I got to ask you a question, Sasha, because we're talking about those turns.
Yeah.
How was the releve?
I couldn't. You know what? I got lost in the story. You got me.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm gonna go back and watch. I'm gonna watch this again but I was like, and then I was like, was it? Because I thought, oh, the turns, and then I couldn't remember if your feet were in frame or not at that point. But you better have been on releve. I like the release though.
Yeah.
It was about the release.
Absolutely. Release, releve. Where is it? You got to find it. Find the balance.
It's a balance.
Tyler Haynes.
Dude, you took the notes. You took the notes from last week. You took the notes. It was the first shot, everything right out of the gate. I was like, oh, okay, here we are. And that's what we want to see. And the fact that what Sasha was saying about just, she got so lost in your story that we weren't watching you dance. We were just watching you live. And that's what I want to encourage you to keep doing, like, because you don't have to work so hard. You have to work hard, but it's not always about tricks or this or that, like, you know. But it just was really, I loved it. Like, you took it to the next level, and the release, the turn. I'm gonna keep going back to that too, as we all did. But like that release, it was motivated. It wasn't like, and now I'm going to spin. Like that release at the end of it was everything. Now I want to see you take it to the next level next week if you continue through with just like, not only with the camera work, but with your storytelling. Show us something different. Show us something we haven't seen. We saw my shot. We saw this. So now I'm like, all right, what do you have next? Let's see it.
I love it. All right. Taking the note. It's the dance captain's mantra. Take the note. Coming up in our top 8, congratulations to Serenity Holmes, who will also be dancing to Rose's Turn from Gypsy. Serenity's charity of choice is Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women because of their focus on the importance of finding justice and protecting Indigenous women. That's incredible. Take it away, Serenity Holmes.
Here she is, boys! Here she is, world! Here's Jones! These are carrots. Oh, you ain't. And why
All right, Serenity Holmes. Another thing you're going to have to tackle in musical theater, hairography. Let that pony run.
Yes.
What do you think, Tyler?
Did she choreograph that? Is that another like
I don't know.
the original?
It's not in my notes. Serenity, did
Okay.
you? I feel that maybe she did.
I think I really dig your choreography. And if you didn't choreograph that, I dig that thing that she did, like calming down. I thought I really liked that. You took a lot of our notes from last week too. I saw more of your personality. I want to just encourage you to go more in that direction. Like we got glimpses this time, and now I just want to see more. I also, play with some dynamics, and also just play with your landings on certain things. I think that they could be lighter, but I really, going back on the choreography, like I really liked that. I really hope it was yours, because if so, I'm like, hey, and if not, congratulations to that choreographer. But good work.
If not Serenity, just tell people it is. Sasha Hutchings.
I agree. You're fantastic. The structure of your choreography is fantastic. You just have some interesting and surprising movements that I love. You were up on the releve. I caught that tail end of it, but I was definitely involved in your story and your character and your face. And I think what I kind of want to see, though, is actually from you. I think you've got this like such a powerhouse. Like I kind of want to see some more grounded movement, and I think next week will be a great opportunity for that. Because I think you're a jumper. I think I'm noticing lots of jumps, and I love that because I was a jumper. But I think there's a little bit more interesting groundedness, and maybe I want to see you play with some different shapes. And I'm just gonna say I think you have interesting ways you connect the movement, but I think sometimes the shapes and the jumps and things, it's just like, that's a saute, that's a this. And then I think your choreography can just be a lot more grounded with shapes and movement structure, less like technique, less, we say this all the time, like, but less, almost like this is going to be weird, less identifiable moves, if that makes sense. Like, I know that's a saute. I know that's a pirouette. I know that's a piqué. I don't know what this is. Like I can't name that. And from you, I want to see more of that in the way of story. But great work, and great work on taking our critiques from last week.
Beautiful. Mr. LaDuca, what are your thoughts?
I agree wholeheartedly with my colleagues that we saw a wonderful advancement from last week. Going back on what both Tyler and Sasha are saying, I loved the choreography was wonderful. Go back and do again history again. What is this character saying to us at this point in her life? What is motivating her? And if you go back anywhere and research this, you will see that she is projecting that if I were doing it, not my daughters, but if I was doing it, this is what I would look like. And I wanted to see you vary that, because she sings and moves. What do you think of this? Now, what do you think of this? She's giving us different things. And when I say go back and research, and jumping back on what Sasha said, would a character like this back in the 20s with Gypsy Rose Lee at that time is burlesque. They're not doing fouettes and passes. They're doing box steps. They're doing cutaways. They're doing shimmies. Go back and do your homework in regard to the stylization that those steps would be for that character in that era. And I think we would start to hone in on the character for you through those steps. And I think that's what's going to project you. And I look forward to seeing you do that next week.
I love that. Thank you so much to our judges and to Serenity. Okay, we continue forward. Also in our big top 8, it's Candace Anselm dancing to Don't Rain on My Parade from Funny Girl. The charity she chose is the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, because she would love to give to a foundation that helps fight for racial justice through litigation, advocacy, and public education. Very mature, very smart. I love that a lot. Let's give it up for Candace Anselm.
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and flutter. Like candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I simply got to. If someone takes the spin, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'm not my band down. I'm being made. Your turn out right, sir. At least I didn't fake it hot, sir. I guess I didn't make it good. Whether on the rose of sheer perfection or freckle on the nose of past perfection, the cinder or the shining amber love is mine. I never know what side of the trail was only and I was right, sir. Juicy, and you say I'm gonna have my bite. So get ready for me now, for some more trouble. I simply gotta march my heart for trouble. Don't bring around the cloud to rain on my
All right, Candace. I feel like Candace was dancing just for us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you know what's amazing? They put these pieces together in a matter of a day or a day and a half or 2 days before it went to voting. So impressive.
Wow.
Sasha, what are your thoughts for Candace?
Yes, I'm living. I want to get up and dance with you. Oh boy, I'm into it. The legs, the hips, the eyes. You gave me such story. Oh, it was just real good. It was just real good. The lyric, like you were on top of the thing. I love the levels. There's something, we were talking about this with the last story, and it's so tricky as dancers, especially when you're dancing to this music and you're like, well, I want to tell the story and I don't need to do a lot, but you just nailed like the build of it. We have this difficult thing where we have to get into the era and what did they dance like and what did they do? But there's an elevated point at which you look at what is, like what's real, and then it's our job to just take it up a notch and just make it bigger or make it something else. So we take like a box step and then you turn it into something crazy and it's identifiable, but it's also like elevated and can I do that, you know? So, and I just think you're nailing it. And I was like, man, she's like rolling around on the floor. I'm like, where did that come from? But it just built and it just made so much sense. And all right, I'm going to stop, but you looked real good.
Phil.
Oh, love it. Love
I
it.
liked it.
Oh, yes. Yes. And kudos. Thank you so much coming out and doing such a fantastic job in heels. Good for you. Shows that beautiful line. That's the whole intention. I had to stop and say, this is a high school gal? The maturity level and the intelligence really was well beyond your age. I loved the character that you played. I love that little look and that gleam into the camera of get ready because I'm a-coming. The only thing that I had to say that I missed, only thing, when you came out with that hat and that suitcase, it's what I wanted to call the establishing shot. Establish who we are. I wanted to see that, golly, I'm in the big city. And then, boom, well, I'm ready. Fantastic job. Good you.
Love that. Tyler, what are your thoughts? I love a big entrance.
Oh, that right out of the gate, the entrance, I was like, yes, you gave me, boom. Back on the prop thing. If you're going to use a prop, use a prop.
Yeah.
Use a prop. Like so often, something for me, it drives me crazy when there'll be these props or this set piece or something, and then it's just there. And it's kind of like, because then if we were watching this on stage, for me, that would be stealing the focus. That'd be upstaging you, that prop that's right there. But listen, I'm getting nitpicky with you because I loved it. Like I loved it, your connection with the camera, like Phil was saying, that little look, I was just like, I was gagging. I want to see you Now I want to see you get a little messy. I want to see you kind of like throw, because you have this beautiful grace. You're so graceful and your control. Now I want to see the complete opposite. I want you to continue working on this piece too. There is a video. Have you guys seen Lilius White sing this song?
No.
Wait, Sasha, you haven't?
I haven't.
Ooh. Okay, so Lilius White, this is like circa 2001. They did a Funny Girl benefit concert, and she sang it. And it's her attack. I just wanted you to attack it a little more, because she's saying, don't. She keeps saying don't. She's saying, you're not going to, no. I'm going to live my life. Like, so I want you, and the best Lilius's version of it is it's just perfect, because it's like, A, she sings the crap out of it, but B, like her thoughts and her dynamics and her joy and her resilience, and that's I want you to keep working on this piece, because I think diving into this piece as an actress is going to do really good things for you. But moving forward next week, now I want to see you not be graceful, and now I want to see it just kind of like something messier or harsher, or just with more of an attack to it. But like I said, I'm being nitpicky, because like I really dug it all around.
I like that a lot, and yeah, I'm with you on the Lilius White. I'm pretty sure when she's and if I'm fanned out, she like throws her dress out behind her.
It's literally at the end, and also just all of her options. I mean, it's Lilius White, so, but it's so exciting. It's so exciting, and just the audience at the end, they don't even wait. They're just on their feet, because it's miraculous.
It is. All right. One more spot in our top 8 before we go to our awesome almost. Rounding us out is Hannah Liberoff. She's going to dance to Mustn't Be Discouraged from Fade Out, Fade In. Her charity is the Share Pregnancy and Infant Loss Support in Company, a charity whose national headquarters are in her hometown. She enjoys participating in their annual walks with her older brother. I think that's beautiful. In our top 8, Hannah Liberoff. Take it away.
Don't be afraid of a little raindrop. That don't mean nothing good. Just remember, one little raindrop started the Johnstown flood in Pennsylvania. When you're living on a park bench, eating grass 'cause you've no dough, your luck will change mañana. You may be 6 feet under, helping it grow. So just remember, when you're lower than low, there's always one step further down you can go.
Adorable.
That is delightful. Well, she used the space. Phil, what do you think?
As soon as she came out and we saw her on camera, I said, "Our girl's back," and I just instantly lit up and smiled. Obviously, taking notes, using the environment, and incorporating what the song is directly. And that is musical theater. You're pulling us in. I thought when we're doing old school, you pulled me in like Bobby Van dancing, bouncing on the street for a whole number. You took what the mission was your homework, and you did it. The only thing that I would say to change a little bit is if you're going to do a double pirouette and grass, then make it according to your environment, because you did so well with the other at the bench in the grass and throwing it into the camera. Don't make it a jump hop, because you took us out of the element of we're outside, and you took us back into a stage or a studio. So it's okay to turn, but incorporate them like little bunny hops around or something like that. And that's it, because I just smiled from beginning to end. Lovely.
Tyler.
I really appreciate your creativity. When it started, I was, like Phil said, I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see what she does. And then I was like, all right, environment, all right, bench, all right, grass. Like, and it's just, you're very clever. And that's what makes you stand out. Like your point of view, even the song choice, like, I was just like, come on. Like, and it just, you really, I don't know. I'm thoroughly entertained. I agree with Phil. but I just thought you put a lot of thought into this, into everything, and it shows. But also your personality just jumps through the screen, and that's something that can't be taught. That's just something that you have. That's what makes you authentic and special. And so moving forward, now I'm just like, all right, now top it. Let's see what you got next time. Show us something totally different, but really, really, really good work.
Great. And Sasha Hutchings.
I definitely agree with Phil. Make your environment work for you. Don't work against it, especially if you're embracing it in such a way, the way that you did. So you don't need a double pirouette, or you can hop it around, or you can turn it into a jump, or whatever you need to do. Like, just make it work for you, so that it really feels like you're very free in the space. And I think you have such a great sense of you and your own energy and what works for you. I feel in that lane that the piece we watched this week and the piece we watched last week sort of have like this through line of very charactery, sort of goofy, cute, and you've got this tone, and I think it works really well for you, and that's a very smart thing. I would like to know if there's another side, or if there's another direction that goes. And I was like, oh, do something different. And I don't want to tell you that. I want you to go further into who you are, but I want to see if there's a different tone to that. So don't think about it like, oh, I've got to do something completely different. Just think, because you have such a strong sense of self, this is me in this environment. This is what I do in this space. Because I disagree that we all have to be able to play literally everything in the world. I think sometimes you can just really drop into who you are. To do that so young is great. So, but I would love to see a different tone or the different side. We all have our happy, and then we have our grumpy days. We have our hangry days. So just what is it like? What are you like on a different day? And I would love to see that in your performance.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. You guys, we're so lucky to have these incredible legends and icons on our judging panel. You guys are giving us such great information for these young dancers. It's so exciting. Congratulations. That is our top 8. Top 8. Keep your eyes on your email so you can get information regarding next week's competition. But as promised earlier, we're not done yet. When we come back, our judges will take a look at our awesome almost and give one contestant a chance to move on to next week. Stay tuned. All right, judges, hard work continues now. It's time to meet those awesome almost. Again, these are performers who very nearly missed that top 8, who were in our top 16. And you're going to get a chance to look at clips from 3 of them. And then one of them, through the grace of you, is going to move forward in the competition. So let's get right to it. First awesome almost, Sophia Cooper, dancing to Shapoopy from Music Man. I think every musical theater number should end with a crowd screaming the word Shapoopy. I'm not that girl. Shapoopy, I think, would be appropriate. Next up, awesome almost, Emerson Forbes dancing to Too Darn Hot from Kiss Me Kate. Emerson Forbes giving us all she got with too darn hot. And in our awesome almost, Sarah Zempella dancing to say I say a little prayer from Promises, Promises. And that's Sarah Zempella giving us the power of the shoulder roll right there. When we come back, our judges have to make a very tough choice, and they're going to put one of these awesome almost forward into next week's competition. Stay tuned. Who will it be? All right, friends, the moment of truth is here. Our judges have deliberated, and they were doing some hardcore deliberation. This was not an easy choice. They put a lot of thought and heart into this, and I'm going to turn it over to Phil LaDuca to let you know who is moving forward as our judges save. Take it away, Phil.
Well, first of all, I want to say what a fabulous week this was. It just zoomed by so quickly for us. We were going, wait. We want to see more, which is exactly the point. We want to see more. So it was a fantastic week, and we are looking forward to adding this next person. But I also wanted to just say to everyone that we were so moved by the charities that these young kids are really getting involved in, that from the judges and for LaDuca Shoes for us, I wanted to add $100 to the charity, the causes. They're just so fantastic. And thank you all so much. And to join us next week, we would love the fabulous Sarah, who did an incredible job for us. And we're waiting to see so much more from you. Keep digging deep. Lovely.
I love it. Sarah Zempella is moving forward as well. Thank you, judges, for all of your incredible heart and thought and wisdom and challenging and helping these young dancers grow as they work towards achieving their dreams. You guys are incredible role models. So it's been a pleasure to be here with you guys again. That's it. Congratulations to everyone moving on to the top 8. We'll be back next week on Thursday, September 24th at 8 p.m. to announce who's making it into the top 5. Be sure to follow Broadway World on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see when next round's voting opens to the public on Monday. We're very excited. Thank you again all for watching. I'm Ben Cameron, your Broadway buddy, and have a great night.